The missing case of Aneisha Young is one of the single most iconic missing cases in Belize. A popular, outgoing young lady last celebrated with her co-workers and boyfriend at a Christmas party. She and her boyfriend left the party together, and according to the boyfriend, he woke up midday the following day and his girlfriend was missing. I am retired Lieutenant Colonel George Lovell, and this is Missing. Aneisha's aunt has been the family's spokesperson, vocally demanding answers for her niece's disappearance. Aneisha's mom, Maureen Young, who lives in the US, is finally finding the strength to speak out about what happened to her daughter and spoke to our team via Zoom. This is her story.
Hi, I'm Maureen Young, and I live here in Long Beach, California. I have 3 kids. Aneisha Young is the oldest. Owen here on my left is the second oldest. And Romani here on my right is the baby. I live here now in California over 25 years. When I came to California, or I should say to United States, my desire was to come to pursue nursing. Aneisha was born in '95, and when she was born, being that she was my firstborn, I wasn't able to finish high school, and because I became pregnant. And when I gave birth to Aneisha, I decided that I'm not going to stay here in Belize, and so I start. My father, which do live here in the U.S. I reach out to him and let him know what would be my decision, because I feel like, my first child and being in Belize, I feel like I wasn't gonna make it. Aneisha, my mom was taking care of Aneisha. She became Aneisha's guardian, and she took really good care of Aneisha while she was there. And we stayed in touch every day. I would talk to her as she was growing up and things like that. So while I'm here, finishing up school and stuff like that, and pursuing my career in nursing, as Aneisha get older, I would, and she will have more understanding. I would tell her, you will come with mommy soon and things like that. And you will never believe that she lived in another place and I live in another place because of the bond we had. We'll be on the phone for many hours and just talking about everything. She's so girly, and and I'm girly, and so we'll just talk about a lot of stuff with girl, about what we'll want to do and what outfit we'll want to get and different things. And then I always was big on her education, because I tried to get her over here numerous times and it didn't happen, unfortunately. But as time goes on, we'll stay in touch and our bond become closer and closer. And as she got older into her teens, she became more frustrated because she wanted to be with mom. And especially when she found out that, she have her brothers, and then she started talking to them, and, creating that bond with them. She really wanted to come to the US so bad. And to the point where she would do anything to get here to be with me and her brothers. And I would try, we'll work on it for her to come. Going to the beach, she got denied 3 times. And we'll wait again and try, and she keep getting discouraged and stuff like that when they deny her from her visa.
While the distance between mother and daughter was a lot, they maintained an incredible bond. They spoke about everything from fashion to relationship problems.
Aneisha is a sweetheart. When you see Aneisha, it's like you're seeing me and you're seeing her brother. She's just she just loved people so much, and just have this big forgiving heart. And every time when we used to talk and stuff, and she'll have problems with friends, because she is sad, but she used to have a lot of people that didn't like her, like girls, and they were just jealous of her. And so we'll talk about stuff like that, and as time goes on, the way her Aneisha is that when we talk about that, she'll just just forgive them. And then sometimes she'll be like, oh mom, this one came over and I just gave her the outfit that you had sent me, or I gave her this that you had sent me, and get to find out it was one of the same young girl that, had a fight with her or did her wrong, or betrayed her. And that's just how Aneisha was, and when when we talk, it's like she always jolly, like just always happy about just life, and just like about her life, like what she want. And she was so into hair. That was another thing. We'll go on for hours, about, the hot hair and makeup. She loved all that stuff. Anything about, fashion, that's Aneisha. And so we will enjoy talking about those things. And she was having problems in the relationship with Charles, and it was an ongoing problem, and if it's not about other females, it's about him being jealous, or, or just being controlling, or things like that. So those were some of the stuff we used to talk about as well, and he used to let her doing other stuff that, that will make me upset. And that's when I came to the point where I'm saying that, you know what, Aneisha, you need to get out of this relationship. And she will listen, because that's one thing, she will listen to me. And she was like, I will, mom. And then she'll get out, she'll stay out of the relationship for like no more than a month. Then get to find out again, she's right back again, because he will normally go to my mom's house, to go pick her up and stuff like that. And then when I find out she's back with him again, she knows she's getting a phone call from me, yelling at her and things like that. Why are you back with him again? And I think that time, right there in November, she made up her mind that I am walking away from this relationship. And I was like, are you promised? She said, yes, mom. And like I was telling you, we start working on her to really come now to the US, because she's working now over 6 months and so forth. So she was able to come. So long story short, we start working on that, because now I feel like she put this relationship behind her, and now she's able to like move forward in her life, and try to come to the US, and help just change her life around.
Maureen recounted for us her disbelief the day she found out her one and only daughter, Aneisha, was missing.
When I got the call, it was from my cousin, Cherie, the one that I always talking. She's the spokesperson for the family. And I got the call, and she said, cousin, we can't find Aneisha. And I'm like, hold on, and I was just about to get in my car. I'm like, hold on. And then here comes my mom call, because, it's like, it just shocked me. And so then my mom called, and she was like, I don't know. She's trying to stay calm. And so to keep me calm, and she's like, I don't know, Maureen, but we're looking for Aneisha. Aneisha had been gone since yesterday, which was the night. And we can't find her. And that's when all hell break loose. And so that's when I told my mom, I was like, you have to find her. You have to find her. And I was like, all right. She's like, all right, we're looking. We're here at the station right now. And when she mentioned Charles is here with us right now too, and because they're making a missing person report. And that's when I said, y'all have to find my daughter, because I don't think I was gonna make it. And then I was like, I said, let me talk to Charles. And they gave Charles the phone, and I lost myself, and I let him know what was gonna happen and how I felt at the time, and asking him, where is my daughter? Like, how come, the nonsense they were telling me that, he was telling me, actually, Miss Young, I don't know, when we got home from the party, I fell asleep, the same stupidness. I fell asleep, and when I woke up after 11, she was gone. And I'm like, how do you mean she was gone? Like, and I'm like, explain to me, Charles. And I was yelling at him, and he was just saying that I just couldn't find her, and I spoke to Officer Cole, and like just being on him, like, can y'all go do fingerprints? Can y'all do this? And can y'all do this? I was just scared. I was scared. that I will never, never stop.
So please, I'm asking, she's a woman, she's a female. Please come out and assist us. Today for we and tomorrow for somebody else, and we definitely will be out there. Today is day 3. This is not the norm for her to do this. So we're fearing the worst, but yet still keeping the faith.
According to Maureen, the family was not satisfied with the police's effort upon the official missing case report being filed.
Word that really got out that Aneisha is really missing and nobody knows where she's at. That's when Mr. Espad and a group of people they start going on the search. But before that, we trying to get the assistance of the police help, and it was just a lot. I don't know what my daughter did, but I don't know what she did. Look, as her still being a citizen of Belize, the kind of support she got from the police department, it was so poor. It was so poor. And like I mentioned to you, I became so embarrassed to be a Belizean. The reason I said that because here come this mass amount of people coming out to help search and looking for my daughter, and the police department, they were like, oh, we only could send 2 people today, and and when I was asking, can we get a canine dog, and I mean, come on now, if you're doing a search like for a human being or for drugs or something like that, you will want to get a search dog. Up to this day, we couldn't get a search dog.
As the days turned to weeks and no breakthrough emerged, the Young family began to realize that they would never see their loved one again.
They failed to realize, like I told Mr. Cole, this is a daughter that the last time I saw was when she was 6 months old. So I was pleading to them to please give me that chance to see my daughter again by helping me, really help me to find her. I can't, up to this day, I cannot imagine that I don't know if I'll ever see my daughter again. So long story short, they were giving us all the runaround, and I thank God for Mr. Espot that I finally met when I went home in this year, and I appreciate him so much and the team because they were really fighting for me. They were the fighters for me, and because they don't know, nobody knows the place that this situation took me. I went into a dark place. And so pretty much I'm telling them, please help me because I didn't know if I was gonna make it. I became to the point where I didn't know, I became so weak that I wanted to take my own life. That's how bad it got. Where I'm like, I don't know how I could make it. And so I'm pleading out to them, please help me. And so long story short, they're like, okay, we're gonna send this one out and that one out. And it was just a lot. And I was like, it was unbelievable. It was unbelievable, the kind of support I was getting from the police department.
As time went by and some leads started coming in, the family became hopeful that they would locate Aneisha's remains. After a quick commercial break, we'll be right back to share new twists and turns in this story, as well as the family's suspicion about what might have happened to her. night and welcome back to Missing. Today's Missing feature is a sensational case of Aneisha Young, a young woman in Belize City who was last seen leaving a Christmas party with her boyfriend. Her disappearance resulted in a seemingly endless loop of questions, frustration, and pain. Aneisha's mom, Maureen, told us about a lead which resulted in the family obtaining some suspicious surveillance footage and a shallow grave in rural Belize district.
There was a gas station that have footage of there was two vehicles leaving around, I think it was around 6:30, I believe, the morning. It was still dark, 6 or 6:30 in the morning. There was a camera footage showed that there was two vehicles. There was a white vehicle and there was a black vehicle. And the black vehicle was supposed to be, I think, one of the vehicles that Mr. Fortune was in. I mean, come on, we have those on camera, and it shows that, you know, they were getting gas. The black car was getting gas, and the white vehicle, which Aneisha was supposed to be in that day, you know, was, you know, waiting for the black car, which Charles Fortune was in. And you could tell, you could see that something is going on. It's obvious there's something going on. These two vehicles are on a mission for what we don't know. Okay, time goes on. We got another hit lead that, you know, they saw some people, you know, there was like 4 people, I think, were, you know, it was early in the morning in Moscow, walking, you know, where they found the remains.
I know that the family, they were conducting their searches in the Bureboom area, and thereafter they had received some information about smell coming out of some yard by the Moscow area. As a result, the family proceeded there, and it is about a mile off the Philip Wilson Highway, a mile into Moscow, and it's about maybe 150 yards inside of an area that has like a swampy area where they found a small shallow grave, and inside of the shallow grave a wig was found, and also suspected human flesh was found inside of the shallow grave.
The discovery of hair weave in the shallow grave sent off immediate red flags for the family, and they became convinced that their loved one was inside the grave before being hurriedly moved.
There was a body that moved from that shallow grave. Really, there is obvious, it's fresh. Whatever body was there, whoever body was there in that shallow grave, you could tell it just got moved because the tracks from the head, and you could tell it was a female. The tracks from the scalp, you know, it fell, you know, it was left behind in the shallow grave, and you know, you guys know the story, the tissue from the heel and all that. Because whoever moved the body, they were rushing.
We had confirmed with her hairdresser, because first we thought that Aneisha was wearing her natural hair. So when we came upon that weave, we said probably it wasn't her. But when we did a few calls to her hairdresser, she said, yes, I was the one who braided her hair, and I was the one who put a full head of weave in her hair. So with
she
that,
described the weave and all of that?
Well, when we spoke to her, she said that she would be able to say no, that was the weave that she had in. But when we look at our angles and how she described her braiding her hair, yes, we are at 90% chances that it could be her, because like what Mr. Espat said, if we check the police database, we can't recall of any female went missing, and even if it was something years ago, that the evidence that we found, the remains that we found would have already been gone.
We had gotten a picture of a band, which is a very important piece of evidence. This band was found right in that vicinity where we found the shallow grave. This band was from some sort of party or nightclub. Mr. Kowo said that they had checked Sit and Sip and it wasn't theirs. So I went all along that northern highway where we have camera footage. I checked all those little clubs along the northern highway, and it doesn't check out for them. Now I want to reach out maybe to the public or me. I don't know if the police want to do it, but we need to check if that band was indeed from the Christmas party, from the workplace, no?
For the family, this piece of possible evidence was the key to solving the mystery surrounding their loved one's disappearance. But in reality, it unlocked even more uncertainty, confusion, and anger.
It took a while before they could literally send those samples to go get tests. Unbelievable. And so they did that, because we were on them like, okay, when are they? Like, oh, well, we got to get this first. We got to get so much amount first before we send it out to Jamaican. All this nonsense. Okay. All right. So, and me, I was cooperating with them. Like, I don't want to act up. My family was already acting up. And, by acting up, you're not going to get, the result that you want. So I trying to maintain my calm and, okay, listen to what they're telling me. Like, we're going to take it and we're going to ship it off this day and all this. Anyways. So now the sample go and come on, you taking a sample of a human tissue and you're going to come back and tell me that it's inconclusive? Unbelievable. Like, so it's like, okay, here we go again. Just when we think that we will get some kind of answers, like, it's just we keep getting a dead end, and I'm like, oh my God, they're like, yes, really? Like, really? You're gonna tell me you having the human tissue from the heel and piece of the tissue from the brain and say you can't come back with something?
For that particular case, the original or the first results that came back in May spoke to the DNA profile that could not be extracted because the sample was too far degraded. And that this was made public. Mr. Koh, I believe, from CIB had explained as much. No? Since that time, the family had reached out through the Commissioner of Police to the National Forensic Science Laboratory to attempt to try to get you could call it a second opinion, to see if it was something with that particular lab or something with the sample, why they could not extract any DNA profiles to determine yes or no if it was that of Miss Young. No?
Unsatisfied with the police's results, the family secured help on their own to get the samples tested in the United States. This was another exciting development for the family. But once again, that effort was frustrated.
I have a friend out here in California. She actually is the director of this lab, and I happened to reach out to her and was talking to her about the situation, and it was unheard of to her. And so she was like, well, you know what, Maureen, I'm going to help you. Oh my God, when I heard that, she was like, we're going to put everything right now that we have that is a must to help you. Because I explained to her the situation that I was dealing with. And so I said, oh my God. So she's talking to me like, she's like, this is what I'm going to need. And so she told me everything that she's going to need. And she said, and is there any way I could talk to the police department? That's God, And so I'm like, yes. And so I reached out to Mr. Espat reached out to Mr. Williams for me, Chester Williams, and let him know that the director of the lab department here in California wanted to talk to you, to have a conference call because she's willing to do it.
So she said that it would be good enough if we could speak to the Commissioner of Police and, have him do a four-way call with us as well as we did, for him to be informed and that everything is aligned so that we can start the process of taking on that chain of custody. This would now ensure that the state would be the one sending a representative to take that DNA. Nevertheless, myself and Ms. Cherie would still accompany that person, and we would have full transparency, and we would assure that the sample is not tampered with.
She let him know everything, what you need to do. And he said, okay, we could do that. And she said, I'm going to send you an email so you could sign, everything. She's like, so that, if anything happened, everything was signed and this and that. And he said, okay, no problem, ma'am. We're gonna do that. We're willing to do that. And she explained to him, you gotta FedEx it and put it in the ice cooler and all that stuff. She explained to him, and he agreed. He said, yes, ma'am, we're gonna do that. And we're in 2021. Up to this day, the lab or anyone from the lab received any sample. I reached out to Mr. Chester Williams when it was getting like later and say, it was like 2 or 3 weeks. And I'm like, hey, are you going to send the samples because they're waiting? I mean, these people from the lab don't even know my daughter. And they were contacting me like, Maureen, where's the stuff? We're waiting. Remember, I told you I have a team of people that going to do this for you. And so that's when Mr. Espot, a few days later, Mr. Espot and my brother, Jeremy, they went to the lab themselves. And that's when they really said there's no more sample of those remains that was in that shallow grave. Unbelievable. So that's where we at right now. It's just, I don't know. Only God and himself could come and solve this problem, because now we don't have no more samples. So what do we do? Where do we go from here? We're asking them, like, what happened to the samples? We still never got no response. Like, what happened to the samples?
With no DNA samples available from the remains found in the shallow grave, the Young family has been separated from the hope of ever enjoying an official confirmation that they had indeed found where their loved ones' remains were initially buried. We will go for another commercial break now before returning with more. Stay tuned. The tragic disappearance of Aneisha Young is heartbreaking in itself. The story of a promising young woman cut short in the darkness of night. As we learn more from the family, the story gets even more painful. The mother of Annie shared the discovery that someone they knew was found to be using Aneisha's phone days after she went missing.
Before she got missing, it was 3 something in the morning. She was in it was like a van, or no, it was like a truck, a Bronco or something. And my cousin actually saw the video because she was up late that night too, and she saw the video of Aneisha, videoing herself and saying something, but her words wasn't able to come out. But she was doing the camera like this, and that was it. But what she remembered, she said, she saw that she did look like she was drunk, and she's like, what is Aneisha doing out so late? And look at her, she's drunk. And that was it, but even if she was drunk or high, I don't know what happened, but she was under something, she was intoxicated. And so she still had some kind of a sense to say, I'm in danger. Let me show this video of what's going on in my surrounding. And there was 3 young men in the back, and one in the passenger seat, and of course the driver. Those faces we couldn't really make out because again it's dark, and the camera was able just to show like the image, but wasn't able to show the faces of the individual that was in the back of that vehicle with her. But we know there was a total of 5 people in that car with her. And that's when that video disappeared. When we reach out to, when they reach out to the police department, let them know that, yes, can we, her phone is missing too. And they mentioned about the video, and unbelievable, the video disappeared off Facebook. Totally. Instagram wiped off. I don't understand. you know, and when we tell them like, well, can, you know, you guys reach out, I think it's BTL or BL, which was the phone company, to see if they could, you know, track the phone or this and that. We got all the runaround. And long story short, as time goes on, I have a cousin out here in Texas. He's really good with technology and stuff like that. And he was able to, he was very close to Aneisha as well. And he was able to break into her account, you know, and he had, you know, and, you know, change her password. And he was able to track where her phone was. Her phone was Signal in Belmopan. We took a picture of that. He sent it to me. He took a picture of it, sent it to the police department. Her phone is in Belmopan. It's signaling it, green. It's still, you know, still have power in it. And we let the police department know that. We don't know what happened. We don't know if they went to Belmopan. They never told us anything about if they went and see, because we were able, my cousin were able to tell exactly the area, and it was close to a border too. He did mention it was close to a border, and the phone was tracking around some minister area. We let them know all that, because it's he able to see it, and we still haven't heard nothing about that. As time goes on, you know, because he changed her password, he's able to see the activity that will be happening on her phone. As time goes on, pictures of Charles Fortune's sister were showing up in my daughter's phone. Was pictures of her. She was taking pictures of herself. They were at Key or somewhere, but she had my daughter's phone. Like, come on now. Like, come on. We literally have pictures of her in my daughter's phone. So we send that to the police department. We have all these things. We have all these evidence. And it's like, what else do we need to show you guys? They didn't know that my cousin were able to track these things. There's so much that we found out, so much, you know, and we sent it to them. But these people are in my daughter's iPhone. And we sent it to them, and it's like, what's gonna happen now? Can you guys go and question these people? No, they didn't. They didn't, not that I'm aware of.
While Aneisha's aunt has been the fierce, her champion of Aneisha's missing investigation in Belize, her mother, who has been away from the cameras, has suffered unimaginable hurt. She shared with us her experience when she went searching for her baby girl in the Maskell area where the shallow grave was found.
And I could feel her. I promise, I could feel her. And we went and we were searching certain things that were mentioned. And I'm saying, God, my daughter is here. Please let me find her. And time was going on and we're there, and I couldn't leave. I could not leave Moscow. I could not leave an area where there was a lake. I couldn't leave. And I cried until my eyes were dry, my throat were dry. I cried and I cried. I felt like I was giving birth to her again. I know she was there. And I'm telling the crew that was with me, because only certain people I had with me, and I'm telling them, I can't leave. I'm like, she's here. Aneisha is here. And because of so many bushes, you know, I guess over the time, you know, bushes grew wild, and it was hard for, you know, one or two of the guys had machete, and it would take a lot to just chop, you know, to chop out those areas. And I'm like, she's here. and they, they trying to help me keep looking and going in the bushes, but it was just hard. We were lifting up things, and I'm like, Aneisha is here. And so as time, hours, we were there for hours, so as time was going, because I couldn't leave, and they didn't want to leave me there. And walking out, I feel Aneisha is saying, Mom, Mom, because that's what she called me, Mom. And I'm like, no, she's here. And I broke again. I broke crying. And I'm like, I can't leave. I can't leave. And so, I'm like asking, is there somebody that come and, I was just asking them, like, is there any way we could contact, because I had a private police there with us as well. And, he don't have nothing to do with the city police. And this was somebody that was hired privately. So long story short, and I'm like, is there any way I could have somebody come to cut out these area and, and drain out this lake? I said, because she's here. Aneisha was not moved too far from this, because I'm saying Aneisha, because she was there. She did not move too far from the shallow grave. It's somewhere around here. And, eventually, we had to leave. But to mention while I was, and I'm going to call a name.
The Young family has had to endure an emotional battering and now accepts that indeed Annie is gone. The countless searches, increasing of awards for information, the tears and the sleepless nights continues to mount. And for Maureen, all she wants and needs now is closure.
Yes, Aneisha is my first child, and I missed her so much. I miss her so much. I miss those phone calls. I miss hearing, Mom, I love you. I miss seeing the I love you emojis. I miss hearing happy birthday, Mom. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Merry Christmas, Mom. I miss those things. So I just want you to tell me, to give me closure where she is. Send me a text. You don't have to call me. Just send me a text saying exactly where she is. I will not judge you. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And I actually forgive you guys. All four of you. I forgive you. I honestly did. But now I need closure. I gave you guys what you guys needed. That was forgiveness. And now I need closure. I need closure. I need to move forward. I cannot move forward without having this of not knowing where my daughter is. So please find it in your heart to tell me, text me, and I will not question anything else. Just tell me exactly where she is. And I promise you, that will be one of the biggest thing you ever did that will be rewarding in your life.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned in to Missing. Over 2 years have passed since the disappearance of Aneisha Young. The family has been devastated beyond measure, and conspiracies are countless. The time since her disappearance has not been easy. The pain is relived every single day. And so, like the family, we rarely do encourage anyone with information to come forward. Do so anonymously. Help this family heal. They need it. They need you. While we have extensively explored Annie's missing case tonight, we remind you of all the others like her who are also missing and distraught their families suffers. If you have any valuable information, you can be the savior for these families. You can quietly contact 922-TIPS and your identity will not be asked, and so it cannot be revealed. These families don't want vengeance. They are not interested in getting even. They don't even want to know who may have committed harm. They simply want to bury their loved ones with dignity so they can finally begin to heal and move on. Season 1 of Missing wraps up now, and we thank you kindly for your viewership all season long. Until we see you again, please remember, see something, say something. Enjoy the rest of your night. Goodbye.